What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again with another daily Man City transfer update. We've got no contract news to speak about in today's update. We also have no ins as well. It has been eerily quiet for Manchester City over the last 48 hours or so. That may just be Manchester City getting further clarification on their outgoings, because there does have to be outgoings before they'll start looking at potential incomings. So we're very much focused on the outs, and the first player I want to speak about is Issa Kabore. Now, Luca Bendoni, a source based in Italy, has said that Paris FC are putting together a loan package to sign Issa Kabore on loan from Manchester City. They do want to include a purchase option, but it is going to be an option to buy rather than an obligation to buy. There has been some Championship interest that we were speaking about yesterday in my transfer update. There's been some murmurs going round as well from Germany too, but it is believed that Paris FC are the team taking Issa Kabore most seriously right now. Remains to be seen what's going to happen with Issa Kabore, but Issa Kabore is one of a few players that City need to get clarification on what's going to be happening for the remainder of this season and potentially beyond. So City do need to sit down, speak with and get things sorted as we edge closer to transfer deadline day, which is happening on the next Monday coming up. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on Manuel Akanji, and Fabrizio Romano has said that whilst Galatasaray remain keen on bringing Akanji in, despite him rejecting their first contract offer, there is a lot more interest in Akanji than first thought. Crystal Palace obviously are a team we've already spoken about who are taking Akanji very seriously, and I imagine they'll step up their interest in Akanji should Mark Gahey leave. Again, still waiting for some clarification on what's happening with him. But Bayer Leverkusen are also interested in taking Akanji from City, and it's believed that AC Milan are also interested as well. It's believed that Akanji is taking some time to think about what he wants to do next and what his decision is going to be, and I suspect as we head towards the weekend that if Akanji's still not made his mind up on whether he's going to be staying at City or pursuing a move elsewhere, whether that be to Galatasaray or Crystal Palace or Bayer Leverkusen, AC Milan or somebody else, then if we don't get further clarification on this, then I imagine Akanji's probably going to be one of a few players that's left out of the Man City squad ahead of our weekend's game against Brighton, as Akanji obviously needs to be in the right headspace, and if he's still thinking about his future and where he's going to end up, then obviously not in the right frame of mind for a competitive football match, and we're still waiting on Akanji to make then decisions. And again, like Kabore, this is a future that needs sorting before transfer deadline day. The clock is ticking. We're looking here at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, transfer deadline day on Monday. So we're looking at this moment in time we're recording, just over 4 days left of this transfer window. Now, moving on, we've got the very latest on Ederson, and ESPN in Brazil was saying yesterday that Al-Nassr in Saudi Arabia were exploring a move for Ederson. Now, this has since been dismissed by Fabrizio Romano, who said that no talks are ongoing between Al-Nassr and Ederson right now, and at the minute it's Galatasaray that are the team most interested in Ederson, and they remain keen. But what I found really interesting about this is Ederson has previously been linked with a move to Saudi Arabia, and he was very interested in making a move to Saudi Arabia last summer, and Saudi Arabia would be a country and a destination that Ederson could play in, where he's got lots of friends playing there. There's lots of Brazilian teammates that are playing in Saudi Arabia right now, and he'd also get paid very handsomely for him to play in Saudi Arabia. So I could believe what ESPN in Brazil were reporting with Al-Nassr potentially being interested. Fabrizio Romano said it's Galatasaray that are the team most interested, and what I'm hinting at here is I wouldn't be surprised between now and Monday if there is genuine interest coming in from Saudi Arabia in Ederson, going off the interest that was there last summer. And if there is the potential of Ederson securing a transfer to Saudi Arabia, that could still be sorted obviously on or before transfer deadline day. But I think Saudi Arabia's transfer deadline is after that of the Premier League's one coming to a close, so it could be sorted after transfer deadline day. But I think the interest and offers and discussions have to take place beforehand, that City would be confident a transfer would happen after our transfer deadline day here in England. So we'll see if there is any more movement on Ederson. At the moment there isn't, so at the moment, if Man City haven't accepted any offers, Ederson is going to remain a Man City player, which at this moment in time, what we were speaking about yesterday with this game of poker, a game of chess chess that's being played between Man City, PSG, Gigi Donnarumma, Ederson, Galatasaray, all interlinked with this transfer, is going to have a knock-on effect on what is going to happen. So for Man City to bring in a potential Ederson replacement, first we need Ederson to get some development. And I was expecting by now to have development. We haven't had them development, so here we are still talking about it. At this moment in time, I'd say Ederson, obviously no offers accepted, is going to remain a Man City player, but things can change very quickly, and I suspect as we head towards the weekend, things are going to continue to be ever-changing, and it'd be nice just to get a bit of clarification so we know what we're dealing with heading into this weekend's Premier League games, and obviously after our match against Brighton, where all focus will go towards transfer deadline day. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some movement after Man City's match against Brighton this weekend, but we're playing things very fine because it gives us around 24 hours to get things sorted, which is doable, but it makes life very difficult and time becomes a big issue. And that's what we're speaking about in yesterday's transfer update with Ederson, about Man City maybe want to give themselves a bit more time in terms of Ederson, and they'd be happy to roll with Trafford and Ederson as Man City's two choices as their first and second choice goalkeeper, and obviously them two players are going to compete to be the regular first team starter for Manchester City, and we can assess the situation again in January with Ederson's contract being up in June of next summer. It does mean that Man City could do with getting some clarification, because it could be a case where we just let Ederson see out his contract and we bring in Donnarumma for free if he sees out his PSG contract, or we bring somebody else in, and it gives us a bit more time just to get further clarification about the goalkeeping situation. And it is something that I've spoken about all summer, about the importance of Manchester City and getting clarification on what they want to do sooner rather than later, because we could do, if we want to roll with Ederson, I'm perfectly fine with going with Ederson. It'd just be nice not to have his future be so uncertain and loads of question marks around his future to a point that, he's not been selected in a squad for Premier League match day 1 and then he's been benched for Premier League match day 2, when if there weren't the interest and we got this clarification much earlier in the summer, we could have had Ederson available for both them games, and maybe last weekend our result against Tottenham Hotspur may not have happened. It may have happened, who knows? So it's hearsay, it's guesswork, and it's all down to managing the business, which Manchester City have still got a lot of hard work and a long way to go when it comes to this summer transfer window. Yet there's only a few days left, so here we are. And speaking of clarification, we have had some clarification on Savinho, and Fabrizio Romano has said that Man City yesterday informed Tottenham Hotspur that Savinho isn't for sale, even if they get more than 70 million euros, which is Man City's asking price at set just over 60 million pounds, which Tottenham Hotspur were apparently keen on meeting, and Man City were willing to accept. So this is suggesting to me it's not a problem with Tottenham Hotspur, it's not a problem with Savinho. It becomes more about Man City finding a replacement for Savinho and the alternative, because this does mean, as confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, Savinho is going to be staying at Man City. He's now training with the first team squad, and I wouldn't rule out Savinho potentially being available for selection for City's game against Brighton this weekend. So keep an eye on Pep Guardiola's press conference and also Man City's team selection, because that would give us our strongest indication yet that Savinho does stay. And I wouldn't rule out Pep even coming out and saying that Savinho is going to be staying, he's going to remain a Man City player, because this completely now rules out Rodrygo from Real Madrid coming to Manchester City. City had been interested, they wanted to bring Rodrygo in. Rodrygo had been keen on a move to the Premier League, but over the last couple of weeks I think he's had his heart set on staying at Real Madrid and competing with a place there to try and become a regular starter, which may happen, may not happen under Xabi Alonso. We'll have to wait and see. So this may be a case that City may want to revisit this at another point, but it does mean though, with Savinho seemingly looking like he's going to be staying at City, he's in for a huge season, because this is his second season, and we can judge better after the second season about, do we think a player is going to be good enough? And we look at the statistics for Savinho, and I think a lot of people have come to the same conclusions of saying we need to see more goals, we need to see more assists, we need to see Savinho involved a lot more, we need to see him pulling in numbers for Man City, the kind of numbers that he was pulling in with Girona in La Liga, which is my Man City spent the money, over £30 million to bring him in, and that's what we've got to be looking for. City backing him with turning down a double your money in a year offer here to back Savinho. So I think City will want to see some return from that backing to Savinho. The biggest confidence nod to him yet, and hopefully that will pay dividends for Savinho and for Manchester City, and we'll get the very best out of a very high quality young Brazilian attacker in Savinho. Same situation with Jeremy Doku as well. I feel like he needs to improve on his numbers, pulling in better numbers, because if you don't, you end up like Jack Grealish. You end up leaving the club because you're not pulling your weight, basically. You're not pulling in enough goals, enough assists, enough goal contributions, yeah, that's what we need to be working on. So for me, all about end product. Savinho, got to improve on that end product. Obviously, Jeremy Doku in for a huge season. Got to be improving on that end product. I'm looking towards the other wide players that City are going to be looking at. If Omar Marmoush is going to be seen as obviously a winger rather than an attacker, which I'm not completely sure is his strongest position. But if that's a position he's going to play, then he's got to pull in the numbers, getting them goals and assists. Same with Bernardo Silva or Phil Foden or Oscar Bob or whoever's going to be playing for Man City. If you want to be a regular starter, you've got to back that up with the statistics. You've got to be scoring goals on a regular basis. You've got to be grabbing the assists, and this is, for me, the big season for Man City when it comes to our wingers and our attackers, because we've not let any of them go apart from Jack Grealish, and we're at a point now where we need to see return, because if we don't, I can see City being ruthless about this next summer in looking to improve on their wingers and their attackers, and this is something that City were flirting with a lot in this summer transfer window. So the fact that City maybe not making them moves for Rodrygo and backing their players tells me these players are on pretty much this is how brutal it is at City. First and final opportunity, you've got to nail your position down. You've got to come in scoring goals, grabbing assists, outstanding performances, listening to your coaches. It's very demanding at the top end of English football and at Manchester City, and it isn't for everybody. So what's going to happen here? City happy to back Savinho, Savinho happy to back himself, and hopefully that can pay dividends and Savinho can be a fantastic player for Man City, which would nothing to make me more happy. Same with Omar Marmoush, same with Phil Foden, same with Bernardo Silva, same with Oscar Bob, same with Jeremy Doku. All these players that I've named, I want them to do tremendously well. I want them to be Man City's future. I want them to be pulling in the numbers. I want them to help get Man City right back to the very top of the pinnacle of English and European football. So hopefully that can happen, because if it doesn't, I expect Man City to revisit this again next summer, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Man City be quite ruthless about their attack as well. So plenty for City to think about, plenty for Hugo Viana to think about, plenty for Savinho and all the other attackers at Man City to think about as well. But it's nice to have a bit of clarification, because we know now that that door has been shut and we don't have to speak about that, I hope, for the rest of this summer. So that has been today's transfer update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a thumbs up. We're aiming for 300 likes. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget, subscribe as well if you're new around here. We're on that push now to 47,000 subscribers, less than 400 subs away. I'd like to hit that by transfer deadline day, so any help towards that would be greatly appreciated. Remember, I'm going to keep you guys up to date every single day with all the latest City transfer news here on YouTube. It's going to be a busy one, so strap yourselves in and do subscribe and stay up to date. Social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries, and I'll see you religiously tomorrow for the next daily City transfer update. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.